Hi guys, I'm Meredith from Turquoise, and today I'm going to walk you through our DIY string art kit, and then I'll show you how to make this adorable giraffe and some of our other grassland animal designs. The first part of the video, I'm going to talk about the different sizes of wood that we offer in the kits, show you the other designs that we have, talk about guidelines as to what kind of age groups can participate in this activity, and then we'll dive right into the tutorial where I'll show you everything you need to know on how to make a professional looking string art. Hope you enjoy. The string art kit comes in two different sizes. We have the 15 by 15 centimeters, which is the mini, and then the medium, which is 23 by 23 centimeters. In general, the guidelines for how long these take, the mini, depending on how slowly or quickly you're working, will be about 2 to 2.5 hours. And the medium would be about 4 hours for the project. Here are the designs for the grassland animal string art kit for the minis. So we have the giraffe that I'll show you how to make. There's the lion, and then a really cute elephant here. For the medium size, we have this really cute lion, and then the elephant. Depending on the kit that you've ordered, it will come with a hammer, or you may need to get one from home, as well as pliers. If you don't have pliers at home, you can also look at using tweezers, but I think pliers are definitely better, as well as real nails. Because string art uses real tools, I'd like to give you some guidelines in terms of age groups that this project is good for. Educational research has shown that the earlier kids can work with real tools, with supervision of course, that it's actually better for their development. So this is a really interesting project to do with kids even as young as 6 years old. I've been doing this project at events and workshops for a long time, and I've seen even some younger kids that have been pretty good with the hammer. It just depends on your child and the level of their fine motor skills and gross motor skills. Generally speaking, kids ages 6 and 7 can assist an adult with this project. I'll give you a little trick in the tutorial where parents or other adults can use the pliers to hold the nail, and then the kids can experience hammering in then. In terms of stringing up the design, it may be dependent on their fine motor skills if they'll be able to stick with it. But in general, you can break up the project for them into little bits so they don't get too bored. Kids ages 8 and 9 would be able to be a little bit more independent on this project, but they still need supervision from an adult. And then 10 and above, it starts becoming an independent project with some check-ins from parents. So it's definitely something your kids can do, and I've seen a lot of parents get super involved in the project and take it over. So it's definitely family friendly, especially involving dad because of the use of a hammer. Okay, now that we know about the kits and we've heard about guidelines, the different sizes, everything, we're good to go and we can start on learning how to do the project. Here are the materials you need for the project: pliers, hammer, the design, a piece of wood, nails, and then scissors and string. To start, check out your piece of wood. Look at both sides, see which one you prefer. The grain of the wood can run side to side or up to down. Also look for knots, which I'm pointing to there. They can be hard to hammer into, so you can arrange your design avoiding them. Also, check the top and the bottom of your design to make sure it's in the middle as well as the sides. Once you're happy with the placement of the design, we can start hammering in. If you're working on this project by yourself, you can hold the nail using your thumb and either your first finger or your second finger. Place the point of the nail on the dot and then hammer in. If your nail goes in crooked, you can always hit it from the side in order to straighten it out like I'm showing here. For the first 2 nails, secure the design so it won't move. So I've done one up in the right hand corner, and now I'll do another one down towards the left hand side. If it's your first time hammering in, make sure that your flat surface of the hammer is parallel to the flat surface of the nail. Then you can raise up your piece and check at eye level to make sure that they are both straight and the same height out of the wood. That one looks a little bit crooked, so I'll just hit it on the side in order to straighten it. If you're working by yourself or with your child, I'll show you another way that you can hold the nail, either for them or even for yourself to protect your hands. You can use the pliers to hold the nail on the dot. If you're working by yourself, use your non-dominant hand to hold it. And if you're holding it for your child, they can then hammer it in. That way it keeps your little fingers safe. It's always better after each nail you hammer in just to check and make sure it's straight at that point. It's a lot easier to correct it then, rather than waiting till other nails are added. When you're planning on where to put your nails in next, take a look at the design and find any areas where the nails might be closer to one another, like where I'm pointing out there. You can start in the corner and then work your way out to make sure you'll have room to get all areas. For this particular design with the giraffe, the top part is definitely the hardest, so you'll want to start at the very middle and then work your way out. If you have a nail you want to remove, you can use this end of the hammer as a lever to pull it out. Just place the nail in between the two different sides, hold the piece of wood down, and pull the handle of the hammer, and out comes the nail. Since this design is pretty easy, I'm going to just continue around the elephant ear here. I have a lot of practice, so I prefer to use my fingers, but you shouldn't be shy to try out the pliers. We've also included some smaller hammers that can be useful for kids to try. You can always use the other end of the hammer to shift things around like I'm showing here. Or you can use pliers for the same purpose. I find that the pliers work better usually. If you're working with children, have a little patience. They will get better at it if they're not that good in the beginning, and you can always go back and straighten everything out with pliers in the end. I've finished hammering in my whole design. It looks pretty good, and I'm ready for the next step now. We'll take off the design now, but if you just want to make sure to take a picture of it first in case your design is more complicated. This one's pretty easy to remember, so we'll just take the edge of your paper or vellum or whatever you're using, and I like to raise it around to the top of the nails the whole way around the design first, and then it should be a little bit easier to peel off. For any pieces of paper that are a little bit more troublesome, you can use a pair of tweezers from home to help you pull it out between the nails. Another option is to use your pliers. For some of the pieces that are smaller, I won't worry about them too much because the string will actually cover anything attached to the nail itself, but you can use these pliers to try. Now we'll move on to the stringing part, so you'll want to grab your scissors. Here I'm using DMC Natura thread, which I think worked really well and I would recommend it. When you're tying on to start stringing up the design, it doesn't matter where you start. The only thing is to leave a long tail so it'll be easier to tie off at the end. I like to make a loop and then make the beginning of the knot off of the nail and then finish the double knot by tying it together once again. We'll start by making an outline of the whole design. I like to do it that way just as a clean start for the whole project. You want to take the string around the outside of the nail and wrap it the entire way around. And then push it down to the bottom. You can use your pliers here to help push it down, or tweezers if you have them, or your finger works just as fine as well. When you're holding the string, it's good to hold it really close to the nails. If you're holding the string way out here, far away from the nail, it can be difficult to work with. But if you hold with both hands close to the nail and use the one finger to constantly hold the string in place, it will work much better. If you're not used to working with string like this, it can be a little bit of a challenge in the beginning. Literally, your finger muscles are learning how to do the fine motor work. Especially this applies for children that may not have as developed fine motor skills as some of us adults. Although some of us have also gone so long without doing this kind of work that it can be a learning curve for you as well. With a bit of patience and perseverance, it can actually become a pretty meditative experience where you're totally and completely focused on stringing up the design. It can be a bit frustrating for the kids as well, so you can always take some breaks and give it a go at some other point. If you're working with string that has multiple threads twisted together, they can sometimes become untwisted and separated, so just unwind to the point where they separated and join them back together. For the tail here, you just want to go up to the main middle nail and then go out to the different three outer nails to create a fan shape. We've reached our starting point where we originally tied on. You can either cut the string here and tie off in another double knot to finish it. If you want to change to another color like green and do something else in the middle, you can also make fun designs on the outside of the nails with different layers. Here I'm going to opt to continue going and start with my what I call crazy crisscross. So that means that I'm going to any nail from any other point. I like to fill all the nails so that when you look at it from the side that they will be completely covered with string. In the beginning, I try to go to each nail at least one time before repeating as a general guide, but really at this point you can do whatever you want. Other options include making patterns. So here I can make one straight line, go up to the next nail and send it over to make a parallel line design. The lines can become all horizontal, or you can do the same thing with diagonal lines. Here I'm going to opt to just go with the crazy crisscross. I'm over in the trunk now, so sometimes with small areas like this, I like to fill them up first, so at least I don't forget them later. This is really where it gets mindfully meditative, and you can really get lost in this project. You don't have to wrap the full way around each nail each time. Sometimes I'll just kind of wrap it around very loosely. But every once in a while it's good to secure the string with a whole entire 360-degree wrap around the nail. This is about 15 minutes of me stringing up the design. Okay, I finished stringing up the center, so I'm going to end up on the same nail where I originally tied on. That's why I wanted to leave that string nice and long so it's easy to tie the double knot. Then just kind of turn the strings around to the center of the design before trimming them off so it's easier to hide the small little strings. The last step is to make an outline, a final piece that will make it look really professional. I'm going to show you the outline in this yellow thread so you can see the difference. We've already tied on to one of the nails, so I'd avoid that one and try doing another one. So I'll do the same leg, but maybe the one on top, leaving the long tail and double knotting. And now I'm going to show you what I call the figure 8 technique for the final outline. Starting from the top nail, go down and around the bottom nail and up the opposite way to make a figure 8 shape. Some of the nails may have so many strings on them that you may need to push the bulk down in order to get the string around them again to do the outline. And you just keep on working this way. I'm showing you here between 2 nails, but once you get the hang of it, you can extend the figure 8 shape to doing 3 or 4 nails at one time, which should make it quicker. This creates a border that looks super professional and finishes off the piece in a really nice way. Here is the separation of the different threads of the string I talked about. I struggle a little bit here because once 1 or 2 threads get separated, it can be a little bit problematic to get them to work together again. Once you get past the problematic point along the string, then the thread should go back to normal. For this design, I decided to stick with all one color and go back and do the border in blue, and I really like how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed learning how to do string art with me today.